Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I am your boy Buzz, and I am joined by my dude Berk, aka Chai Berk 96, and we are here to recap the Chicago Bulls blowout loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 121-105. Before we do that, be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet, following Berk at Chai Berk 96, and following me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us. 5-star rating and review because that's cool and tough. Berk, what happened tonight? what happened tonight?
Let's put it this way: the Bulls aren't getting a 5-star rating and review from me, man. I mean, have you been to Cleveland before?
I have not been to Cleveland. Actually, I lied. Yes, I have. I went to Cleveland for an Indians game.
I can understand why you don't remember it, because it's pretty boring. You go there, you fall asleep. The problem with that is when you play basketball in the professionals on the hardwood, anytime you step on that hardwood, you have to be awake, and the Bulls did not do that to start the game. It was just beyond pathetic. It was piss poor defense. You started off, and Kobe, I thought his confidence would carry over from the other night, and he's bouncing the ball off his knee again, and caused a cascade of turnovers, and then that was it. The game was done in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter.
It was absolutely brutal. No defensive intensity, just like you put out there. Not taking care of the ball like you put out there. This was Nikola Vucevic's worst game. Did I do okay on the name, bud?
Oh, you nailed it. You nailed it this time.
Yeah. I didn't want you to give me shit about that when we're at the Sox game together on Saturday. So I've been practicing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrible tonight. The effort was bad. And you know what, man? You really heard it in Stacey and Adam tonight, how much I think that they had a bad time calling that game. It was just so sloppy. The Bulls were absolutely terrible. 6 first-quarter turnovers. They were 0 for 5 from downtown for a while there. I mean, they just went down immediately. They scored – think about this for 1 second, Bert. They scored 1 point a minute in the first quarter. They 12 points, 12 minutes in the NBA quarter. 12 points they scored, and Cleveland scored 34. Absolutely unacceptable.
No, that's the best way to put it. It's been what we've seen all year. Lowry laying off at the 3-point line, opened up, Cleveland start getting hot from 3. You saw, even my opinion, once they got down, there was kind of, Vooch was the option. And then there was a lack of leadership on who was going to step up once, we realized that, the situation we were in. And you just knew from the moment that went forward, it wasn't there. I'm at a loss for words.
Well, this is obviously, Vooch started off with the first 6 points for the Chicago Bulls tonight. After that, they kind of figured him out, put a body on him. He wasn't able to hit his shot. Then I felt like he started doing too much, kind of to your point, where no one really knew what to do and how to get back in this one. And he started forcing stuff. He goes 1 for 5 from downtown. He has 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. 5 turnovers for Vooch tonight. A couple of them being offensive fouls. Now, you can agree with those. You can disagree with those. But the fact of the matter is, it happened. And
And you, too, when you get down like that, you do want to try and play a more physical brand of basketball. And it's just frustration. It's easy to come out in a game like this when you're starting down out of the gate. So you kind of can't blame him either,
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to blame him for the loss.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you're blaming him for the loss, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you kind of can't, put those fouls and say, oh, Vooch has got to play better. There was no one else playing aggressively, when we were down like that. I don't think anyone was.
No, they all looked lost. And again, the turning the ball over, it doesn't matter if you start hitting your shots, but you're going down the court. Like, let's say every, 2 times you go down the court, you get a basket, which they weren't, but they were turning the ball over the next time. And it's just, you're not going to come back and win. They had a couple surges, but then they kept making mental errors like that just took them out completely. And that's just something that can't happen. And, I want to put this point out there. Washington's about to win tonight against Golden State. Okay. So the Bulls and Washington are one and the same. They're going to be outside looking in because Toronto actually beat Brooklyn tonight. So that means Toronto, Burke, moves into the 10th seed now. And obviously it's one game. Okay. We know that it's one game. Anything can happen, but this Bulls schedule, my friend, isn't getting any easier.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's why this game was it was pretty pivotal, because those last 2 wins, I don't know if you can say you should have expected those. So this one, was against Cleveland. And I think, again, a divisional opponent, you'd like to hope you have it figured out and that confidence you can write in. But now looking at the upcoming schedule, you're toast.
You really are. I mean, that's the thing. You're coming up against a Charlotte team that obviously they haven't had LaMelo Ball.
They've still been fun to watch, and they have options. And again, what's this defense going to do, to stop, all that group of guys there? There's multiple options, and if we just lay off at the 3-point line like we did last night, they're going to come out on a quick run again, and it doesn't matter how hard we try on offense. It's going to be, quick kill.
And especially with a team that likes to play in transition and move fast like Charlotte does. They're currently sitting in the 8th seed, Burke, at 28 and 29. No doubt in my mind that if they did have LaMelo there and they didn't have to deal with Rozier being out for a little bit there, they might be a little bit better than that. Maybe like 6th or 7th, still right there, but not a game under 500 by any means, because that team is so exciting to watch. But the way that they play the game, they play fast and they space the floor. And they have explosiveness at the rim, too. So if we're not having any interior defense, which we know we've struggled, I mean, outside of Daniel Tice, really, right? And then you're having trouble on the fucking perimeter, dude, with who's going to pick up who. You're in big, big, big trouble. Like big, big, big trouble.
Yeah.
And it's just something the Bulls can't do. If they turn the ball over like that, it's going to be even worse than it was tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I can't really elaborate much more on that. That's how it's going to be. You still have, Troy Brown Jr. and Garrett Temple, but that's still proved tonight not going to be enough. And like you were saying, the Charlotte Hornets are a great transition team, and it's only going to be worse.
And you know what really sucked? I missed this today. I kind of had a crazy day at the office. I mean, you know how it gets towards the end of the week. We're in the middle of the week, but getting towards the end of the week, it gets busy as hell. I get home. I hadn't really looked at Twitter too much. Outside, I was texting you a little bit, texting Tony and Johnny about some stuff. And I sit down, and one of the first subs that comes in is Denzel Valentine. So immediately I'm about ready to hop on the Twitter machine and throw a bitch fit. And then I see that TBJ's out, and I'm like, oh, man, with a sprained ankle. I'm like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, not saying that he's the reason you're going to be in or out of a game right now. He's acclimating to a new system. He's a young player in this league. But the one thing that you pointed out when you were on last, that defense that he has, you can put him on somebody on the wing to at least try to help you. He can get into the passing lanes. He can try to lock you down on the perimeter. That was something that was
you can take a one wing option with him.
Right.
But a team like Charlotte, that even if you had him, I don't think you're going to totally slow him down.
Well, we have a good point here brought up by Sean Keane on YouTube. He put, how is it possible to play so good against the Celtics and then, get shit all over by the Cavs? I mean, that's just a night in and night basis thing with the NBA. I've learned that just from years of watching it myself. It's not, if you don't have it some nights, you don't have it. Unfortunately for the Bulls, more so than not, after the trade deadline, they have not had it. And then when you take a hit of losing Zach LaVine due to this NBA health and safety protocol, this is a game, Burke, where I think that fans can finally, maybe not finally, I mean, they're going to keep their opinion because everybody likes to keep their energy, but they're not better without him.
Correct. And if you're still on that boat that like, hey, Zach, not being in the lineup lets the ball move around more, it's your other option. It's, if Vooch doesn't get going, you're letting Denzel Valentine just start chucking up threes and you hope they go in. And you have Archie Diacono taking up the ball if, Kobe's, turning the ball over. If you had Zach there, you at least maybe have a shot to make it a close game because he gets hot, for a 12-2, run. But you don't have that with him, out. It should be all the more reason to, once he comes back, you have to feed him and you have to respect his game.
Yeah, there's a Staceyism that I've stolen from him for years, and that's stop the bleeding. We didn't have a player that was capable because Vooch wasn't on tonight. We did not have a player that was capable to stop the bleeding. Kobe couldn't do it. And though Kobe only had 1 turnover tonight, which is surprising when you look at the box score, I felt like he struggled getting into the offensive sets with the team. And then when they went down, even though he only took 10 shots, I felt like he kept trying to get to the rim and he wasn't looking. You go back to the Boston game where his brother texted him at halftime, right? And that was in our Bulls group chat. And he was just like, dude, look for Tice on the perimeter here every time you're penetrating. Kobe was not doing that.
I did see that tonight where it's a couple times he got double. And if he passed it back out to the elbow where he was, someone popped out there to get it, but he wasn't doing that. And you're right that if he got a text like that, he should have realized that's going to happen every game now, because they know he struggles to think with what to do with the ball, and then when he panics, he just drives at the rim. Doesn't matter if he's 1 man on him, 3 guys on him. That's what he does, and it may as well be a turnover sometimes. Again, when you're getting triple teamed. At least if, a guy's wide open for 3, that's my opinion, it's a more high percentage shot than right at the rim with, 3 guys over your back.
Right.
So, and it's these little things here that I'm starting to think, Kobe's going to be gone. Lowry's going to be gone after this year. They're not. Here's my question for you. Can you say these guys have developed this year? Because to me, this year, my big thing was the audition. Are you part of the core? I saw Levine got better. Patrick Williams has been good. He's, shown flashes. I think he's young enough that you can give him that. Obviously, we traded for Vooch, so he's there. Other than that, a couple of the vets, maybe you could say with, Temple playing well. But other than that, like Kobe and Lowry, who are, supposed to be huge parts of this, I don't think you can say they truly have developed into, what we thought they would be, yet alone leaders that you could go to stop the bleeding.
When I look at development, Berk, I look at in-game adjustments and I look over a body of work after a certain amount of time, right? So that's usually what I kind of look at. And with Lauri Markkanen, if you would have asked me in the beginning of the season before he went down the second time, because he missed time with the health stuff in the beginning, from the beginning of the year, right around New Year's, he had missed some time because he was in that van with Sato and Archidiakono or whatever. And he was averaging 19 and 7 and shooting like 52% from the field and 40-something% from downtown. And, he was playing well. He comes back after that, and then it's nothing. Kobe White has struggled all year. I mean, all year. And there's no doubting it. He's had his games where he has a good assist to turnover ratio. And even if you look at his numbers, like throughout the year, his assist to turnover ratio is pretty decent. But at the same time, when he's in the games when they matter the most, he's not really making an impact. So I look at it now as these last couple games, like we could sit here and talk about Lauri Markkanen having a good game tonight. In 21 minutes, he scores 16 points. He goes 5 for 7 from the field. But this is my issue. 5 of his shots came from downtown. 5 of his shots. He had 4 of them, so he was stroking it, no doubt. There's issues with me looking even at Thad Young tonight when Lowry does get into a mismatch. Aggressiveness, right? Yeah, he got into the mismatch. Demand the fucking ball in the paint. Don't let them kick that around. Scream at him. Go into a timeout and be like, what the fuck are you doing, coach? Like, get these guys to give me the ball when I'm on a mismatch. Do that. He doesn't do that. So that's why you see the inconsistent play, the inconsistent scoring numbers, game in and game out. Plus, on top of that, he's 7 foot tall. You're getting beat by Darius Garland on the defensive end on a rebound. How many second chance points Cleveland had tonight because of this? You guys aren't rebounding. And there's a play in particular I want to bring up in the second quarter when Lauri Markkanen was in. Thad gets the ball at the top, right? Kobe comes off. He runs to the corner. Thad comes back. Kobe's going to set a little screen. You have Lowry in the paint on a mismatch against Deladova. Bro.
That was right about when I went into the kitchen and nearly grabbed my Mickey Mouse toaster, my girlfriend's Mickey Mouse toaster. I mean, that was it. Anytime you have a guard on a forward, my opinion, you give the forward the ball, no matter what, 10 times out of 10. Because he's going to win that matchup 9 times out of 10.
And I just don't understand. And we have Chai Sports Fan. He's always in here. He's a good dude. And he just says it's not his personality. And he's absolutely right because it's not. And I think that we've seen enough where, and you know this, I've been a Lowry stan for years. We've talked about it at the rate before.
Mhm.
You know, unfortunately, we never got to hit a Bulls game before, but you know my feelings on the kid. I liked when we drafted him. I liked his rookie year. Kind of struggle with Boylan. I understand that. I get all that, but I can't handle when you get beat and you're not aggressive enough when your team is down and you want to be a pillar and you're turning down a contract because you think you're worth more than what you really are.
And it was the same deal. We thought too now with having Vooch here that he would draw, Vooch would draw the better defensive big. And Lowry still can't do that much with him, and get a guy in a switch. Or we know when Vooch gets doubled, he still is, not trying to get into the paint and, play hard down there. He's always trying to camp around the 3-point line. So it is what it is. But I think the Lowry experiment is, it's, you can almost chalk it up as a failure. And I think he'll be on his way out of town after this year.
He probably will be, my man. He probably will be. It just gets on my nerves so much, the fact that, Zach's out, and again, it's like, I feel like I contradict myself a lot when it comes to this because it's like, oh my God, if you can keep losing these games and somehow find your way into the top 4, like that would be great. Absolutely would be. And I'm not denying that, but it's just like games that are winnable to me, you have to take advantage of. And when you come out flat like that, it makes me not want any of them on a roster moving forward. None of them, Garrett Temple played pretty good D to start it off. He got a good steal there, and on the break hit a layup. I mean, he was doing okay, but other than that, he couldn't hit his shots. It's just, I don't know where to go from here, especially when this is getting harder for us. Because like we mentioned a little bit ago, we're playing Charlotte. After that is 2 back-to-back games in Milwaukee. You have them on Saturday and Monday. Then you play the Knicks, who are on, quite frankly, a roll. And then you play Milwaukee. These next 5 games, I mean, we're talking about realistically what could be a big losing streak. And anything can change in and night out. And I'm not discrediting that. They can come out and get hot or whatever. I mean, that could happen. You know it just as well as I do. But after an effort like that, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I just don't see it, man. I don't know how they get away from this. I mean, if you want to, I mean, especially with this is something that grinds my ass too, and I want to get your opinion on it. Like, with there being a 10th seed for a potential play-in, does it piss you off a little bit more that we're on the outside looking in on that?
Yeah. I mean, you traded for Vooch. You made your move. You said this year we are going to, go for a win. Because when we made that move, where were we sitting? We were sitting in the play-in thing, and we were like, oh, this is it. This is going to put us over the top. We're going to probably get the 8th seed. We're there at a minimum. And you got worse. Why did you get worse? You just pretty much, it said it's Zach Vooch. That's it. There's no other guy on this team that, stands out, is a leader, stops the bleeding when need be, can go on a run. So that's, like I said, it's your audition. It's, here's your chance to prove for next year. And I don't think, like I said, anyone has, unless it's, 1-year deal with some of these vets. So
sometimes I wonder if that was the plan all along, but I don't think it was, because with an acquisition like Vooch like that and then giving up picks and making them top 4 protected.
Yeah, I think once you traded those picks, you were kind of convinced like, hey, we have enough, or Lowry may not be what we thought he was when he got drafted 7th, but he's still going to be an intricate piece to the puzzle, something that's going to be needed. But I don't see much use for him. I think you could easily replace him this offseason. Same deal with Kobe. I think Kobe's going to find a better fit on another team as, somebody's, shooting guard. And, we've got that hole filled with Zach, and all our chips are down on Zach right now. So
I wonder where they go. And I feel like a broken record when I say that, but after losses like this that are just so dominant of like just such a they were dominated, and that's the only way I could put it. Even with their little comebacks, you never felt like they were going to get back into it. Even in the 4th quarter when they had trimmed it down, I was like, nah, this ain't happening. And
you had Felicio on the floor. That's literally that's the walking white flag for you.
I did tweet when he came in, it was GOAT time. So, it was
the first signs of the white flag were putting in Archidiacono and Valentine, but then
he came in right away.
I know. I'm like, oh, it's over. They're just trying to see what they can salvage, and maybe someone has a flash in the game, and someone sees some trade value or something. But no, that was a white flag, and then Felicio, and I'm like, it doesn't matter if we're closing the gap. It's not going to be enough.
Yeah, it really, and it wasn't. It's just I got some game stats pulled up here that I'd like to go over with you, and oh my God, does it just make me mad looking at him, Berk? I don't know why I'm getting fucking irritated. All right, so it's going over some team stats. The Bulls shoot 39 for 79 from the field. That's good enough for 49%. They end up after the slow start from the three-point line. It's not like it was great by any means because they had to start chucking to try to get back into it. They go 13 for 37 for 35%. They have 18 free throw chances. They hit 14 of them compared to Cleveland's 19. They hit 15. They rebound at the same clip, 41 per team. This is the 42nd consecutive game the Bulls have had over 20 assists. They had 27 to Cleveland's 27. Total turnovers is where this gets hairy here. The Bulls had 20 turnovers to lead to 23 points for Cleveland. So 20 turnovers for the Bulls to lead to 23 points. They had 48 points in the paint to Cleveland's 56. The largest lead for the Cavs was 33. So, just they were there in some of the statistics, but obviously if you watch the lay of the land and how the game went, they got burned pretty bad.
Yeah. And if, again, doing the math on how many times we saw those mismatches, points in the paint should be about even, just like all the other stats. But again, we didn't take advantage of those, and that's what a winning team does. So,
and what's funny? They've been taking care of the ball a little bit better recently, and I'm surprised to see them. I'm surprised to see how it went, honest to God, like with the turnovers tonight, because I felt like they were taking a lot better care of the ball. But it also comes down to their front court just beating the shit. I'm sorry, their backcourt beating the shit out of our backcourt. I mean,
yeah.
Sexton and Garland, dude, they combined for 55 points. Our starting backcourt of Kobe White and Garrett Temple combined for 18.
Yeah.
I mean,
there you go.
I will tell you, if you want to know real quick, can you guess, without looking, can you guess who had the best plus minus on the team tonight? You're going to love the answer.
Don't say Felicio.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it was. He's a +9, baby. Start him right now. He's a +9. You can't get any hustle like that anywhere else, Berk. All right?
Oh, man.
Felicio, the best plus minus on the team if you're into that. So that means play him according to some on Twitter. Just play him. He had a better plus minus. They don't take garbage time into account, I guess.
Honestly, it can't be that much worse.
No, it really can't be, man. Oh, God. So tomorrow we have a back-to-back here. So tomorrow the Bulls play, again, the Charlotte Hornets. This is back at the United Center. So they will be at home for this game. Unfortunately, because I hate these. It starts at 8:00. I hate that. I just absolutely cannot stand that. So after a little bit of a 2-game road trip there, where we split, we beat Boston, lose to Cleveland, obviously. So we'll be playing Charlotte at home and then 2 games away in Miami after that. You have anything else, man, before we ride off into the sunset here?
No, I'm good. Let's get on to the next one. Turn the page. Hopefully it's better. Fingers crossed.
Berk's like, fuck this.
No toaster bats again. No more.
I text Nani and Tony. I said, I'll miss you guys. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm going to go play Frogger on I-80 real quick. I've had enough. It's such torture watching it. It is. And then you come on here and you're like, we do these post games after every game. And you're just like, huh? Like, what do I say here without like
exactly
like, you're the worst, like you're the worst.
Exactly. Because it's tough because sometimes you're just lost for words at how inconsistent how consistently inconsistent they are.
You come out and you're like, well, yeah, I kind of want them to lose because I want them to have a good pick, but I also selfishly, because I'm a homer and I'm a meatball, I want them to win because I want to fucking win. But
exactly.
And then you get blown out by Cleveland, a team in your division that's I mean, statistically, well, record-wise, right? I mean, they're worse than you. And you just get completely pummeled after a good performance against Boston. So, again, night in, night out, it always changes. The NBA is like that, but holy hell, bro. Holy hell. So if you got anything else, I'll lead this out here, man. Everybody be sure to go to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at OnTapSportsNet. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review. Following Berk at ChaiBerk96 and following me at Buzz on Tap. We'll be back in some capacity tomorrow, unless Berk takes a toaster bath and I go play Frogger on 80. Let's go Bulls.